Okay, guys. Hey, hello, hello. Trying to get a couple things going here. Um, so we're gonna get started here in just a second. All right, I think we're ready. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump in and get started. So, welcome back for another weekly nugget of wisdom. And I'm so glad you guys could tune in tonight. So we are moving right along. It's officially the middle of the month. So we're smack dead in the middle, and it's March 15th. So hopefully you had a great start to your week. I know sometimes Mondays can be tough, right? And can be challenging at times. And sometimes that is me. I experienced that too. But hopefully you've had a successful day and positive day. And if not, then hopefully your day is coming to an end and a close, and you can relax and rest and regroup and revive yourself for the rest of the week. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you could be sure to share it. I would appreciate that. Or you can still invite somebody to tune in live as well. Um, so we're doing a couple different things so we can try to reach everybody. So and hopefully find some mode of encouragement. So really, tonight's nugget, you know, is one thing I want to share, and it is something that I know that I've shared before, but I just find that is something that's special, and I think very relevant, and something that's still um, that anyone can benefit from. So this came from a piece of something that I did, journal and write, and I had a lot of different names, or I won't say a lot of different names, but I did have a couple variations of what I had titled it. And I'm gonna go with what I had originally titled it, and I think I had switched it up, but I'll explain why, and maybe you'll understand. So, um, this is entitled "Get Naked." This is entitled "Get Naked." So just stay with me here. Okay, so and this is again what I wrote in journal. So have you been hiding? Have you been fronting, putting on a mask, not willing to like go deeper than the surface level? Um, you're broken, you're confused, you're hurt, you're angry, you're lonely, you're frustrated, you're full of even self-hate. You're dealing with low self-esteem, and yet, to the outside world, you act and look the exact opposite. Aren't you tired of running? Tired of faking? Tired of the mask? Tired of covering it up? I Aren't you tired of the facade? The putting on. And this is what I wrote in response as if God was talking to me. So this is again something that I dealt with and experienced. So he says, I want to help you. I want to heal you of your hurt and your pain. but you must be emotionally naked before me. If you never bring me your issues, how can I fix it? I know the guilt, shame, disappointment has trapped you and caused you to believe that I don't love you, that I don't care. But that's far from the truth. I love you with an everlasting love. I desire and want the best for you, but you must believe you deserve the best. You want to live, I want you to live and walk in freedom, no longer bound by your past. The traces instead of your past will lead you to great purpose. I still have need of you, no matter what you've done or what you've been through. Will you please give it all to me? Cast your cares on me, for I care for you. I want to give you the beauty for your ashes. Only when you are completely naked can I now clothe you with my righteousness for my glory. No more facades, no more faking, no more fronting. Today, if you will start fresh and new to being a new, authentic you, give me your pieces and I will make them a beautiful masterpiece. And this was something that I actually wrote and penned last year, almost a year ago. And it's something that I still kind of read back and go back over at times because I think there are a lot of pieces in there that, you know, um, it's still a process and it's still a journey. And some of the things, like I've mentioned to you guys before, I'm all about, being open and honest and being transparent and just sharing with you like my experiences, what I've been through. And a lot of these things, everything that I just wrote here is because I've been there and I've lived it, I've experienced, and some things I still am. But I can look back even a year ago from when I wrote this and can see that everything's not the same, that there has been some growth, that there has been some change. And so I want to just share that with you and report with you. Have you been in a point of maybe feeling dissatisfied or dealing with things and maybe, internally you've not really dealt with some of those issues? Maybe you have suppressed them and pushed them aside and put them away, or different things, but are you now at a point willing and ready to get emotionally and be naked? Are you willing to be vulnerable? Are you willing to be open? Are you willing to uncover the things that you have hidden and tried to tuck away and put away? And I know that that is, hard to maybe look in that mirror internally, and maybe even actually physically, and try to deal with the things that you have not dealt with for so long. You've learned how to cope with, the brokenness. You learn how to cope with the hurt. You learn how to cope with the pain. You learn how to deal with, feeling less than or not measuring up. But is that really the life that you want to live? Is that really the life that you even deserve? No. And I hope that you understand that. And I hope you believe that there is so much more and there's so much greater in store for you. And I can tell you from, again, my own experience, I once did not believe, or really, I heard it, I heard other people tell me, and I probably had even said it a couple times, but truly, truly believing it myself, I didn't. like, like truly believing that I deserve better, that I was worth it, that I was important, and that I mattered, like to not just to other people externally, but really, I really was important, first of all, to God, and that I mattered to me. Like, I'm important because I understand that how I was created. I understand that there's value and worth within me. And so I encourage and implore you that although it may be tough and it's going to be hard and there's going to uncover a lot of different things and maybe some things you don't want to look at and deal with, but can I tell you, by you taking the step and the courage and being intentional in your steps to be vulnerable, and to expose those things, that there's so much more and greater in store for you. Can I tell you, from where I've been at a place of, there's sometimes an unexplainable like joy, and there's an unexplainable peace that comes with you dealing with the things that you never wanted to deal with. There's a freedom that comes with um, no longer finding yourself captive and bound by your past, bound by those secrets, bound by those hidden things, bound by all of those emotions, hurts and pains and issues. But when you can take a moment and truly and freely give yourself and open yourself to that change and to that progress and to that healing, then there's so much that you can experience in life and really have a deeper and greater appreciation for. And that's just something that I know that has really spoken volumes to me. And now that I can realize that for myself, then again, to encourage someone else to take that, we talked about before, just taking that leap and, making a move. Um, Sometimes it's gonna be into the deep, hard things, and we can't see our way, and it's gonna probably get dirty and be unpleasant. Um, but even in your mess, it's still something beautiful. I want to encourage you. Even in your mess, there is still something beautiful. Even in your brokenness, there is still something beautiful. I don't know of any other way to, or I can think about any other, like, I guess, idea, a way of just me envisioning in my mind, because I'm like a visual thinker person, is, I just imagine that, we can look so fragmented and distorted, right? And a lot of the things that I'm talking about that manifest on the outside is really what we're dealing with on the inside. A lot of the things that manifest on the outside is what we have been dealing with on the inside. So imagine, when I think about, all of these things that have become who I am, or a part of me in my experience in life, but I'm dealing with, hurt, shame. I'm dealing with abuse. I'm dealing with, you know, disappointments. I'm dealing with, just a whole long failed relationships, betrayal, dealing with lies and deceit, just dealing with a lot of things. Now dealing with my own self-image and how I think and view myself, and all of the things. Can you recover from this all? Can you do this? What's really going on? When you look at all of these things, and sometimes even feeling like, well, am I really of value? I don't know. Maybe I'm too broken. Maybe I'm too wounded. Maybe I'm too battered and bruised. that is now I'm no longer worth any value. You think about a car or other tangible things that, its value is predicated on how it looks and the condition that it's in. But can I pose to you that there's um, one special person and one special creator that can still find value and say that your value and appreciation is still just as great as being broken, bruised, and tattered and torn, than you being spotless and without anything. That even in all of that, even in all of your scars and wounds, even in all of the fragments, that you're still something beautiful, that you're still a masterpiece. And how you become that is to allow, again, this work that you begin to start internally, and also that you allow God to do within you as well. There's no way for me that I didn't find a way to have refuge or solace, or comfort or encouragement on my own. There's just no way I was going to be able to navigate this uncharted territory on my own. How can I deal with the fact of my own failures? How can I look myself in the mirror at times and look at my own failures, the things that I have chosen and done, right? Even the things that, sometimes that hurt even the more when it's not something that you did, but it was done to you. And yet you still have to be able to pick up and move on, pick up and still move forward. And yes, then at those times, it's like, well, then what do I do? Do I do anything? Um, how do I find myself in a way to move on, to move forward, to get out of this? And I just want to encourage you that even in your brokenness, whatever it is, the shortcoming, even in um, your um, your wounds and your scars, that God still finds you a beautiful masterpiece. Even the broken, fragmented pieces that you find yourself in, that if you would allow Him, He can still put the pieces back together again and make it something even more beautiful. There is something so amazing that once we begin to understand and know who we are, and really begin to believe the things not only that maybe we've been told. Have you ever been told, like, oh, you're such a cool person, or oh, you're a good person, oh, I just love you, and different things. And I've had people, of course, tell me those things a lot, even that people have looked up to me and maybe even admired me. But every time I would get those things coming to me, the brokenness within the side of me could not handle it. The brokenness and the fragments within inside of me could not deal with what was being said to me. It was like, because I was broken, a broken vessel, a broken person, a broken spirit, that anything that was coming to me, that was being poured into me, was going out of the cracks. It was seeping out of the cracks, because I wouldn't allow myself to be made whole. I wouldn't allow um, myself to go through the process of being put back together again. Even in those hard, maybe even life um, threatening, or seem like you're on the brink of the end of it all situations, I think about someone that's going to heart surgery, that has to have heart surgery, and that's major life changing, right? Your life is on the line to have heart surgery. But the good of that is you have to weigh the options, and it's better that I go through the process to have this heart surgery so that I can continue to have a greater life, possibly, right? Longevity, and be able to live longer and be healthy than to stay with a broken, messed up, failing heart where I can die at any moment. So I want to ask you, are you willing to go through the process and go through that surgery, that internal surgery? Maybe it is on your heart. Are you willing to go through that? That yes, it may seem like it's life threatening, and I don't know if I can survive it. But as you at the point where you're tired of where you are, and it's better that I take this calculated risk so that I can hopefully get to the other side and maybe able to have a long, healthy, prosperous life. Am I willing to go through the temporal pain and the long recovery and be cut on for the ultimate gain of being made whole and put back together? Something that's so amazing about a surgeon is that they can cut you wide open and almost have you in two, but then they are able to stitch you and put you back together again. And I implore to you that that's the same thing that God can do for you, even internally. So, will you allow yourself to be emotionally naked? Will you allow yourself to be vulnerable so that in the end you can become that beautiful masterpiece? Hey, I know it's not going to be easy. And I know that it will bring and present its challenges along the way. But I'm here to let you know that it is possible. And I know that I'm one of the witnesses, and there's so many others that can say that yes, it hurt. Yes, it was hard. Yes, there was struggle. And yes, there was, difficulty even in that. But I, we survived and we came out on the other side so much better. And so the same thing can happen for you. Will you be naked? Will you allow yourself to be vulnerable so that you can become all that God has and desires for you to be? So you can be that ultimate beautiful masterpiece. I hope you guys found some encouragement in that, and just wanted to be able to share a little bit more personally from my heart. And I know a lot of the things that I really felt in remembering, even writing that, and how I allowed that to even minister to me then and still minister to me now, because again, it's still a process. It doesn't happen overnight. And yes, there can be some things that, you can get to a certain point and feel like you're making great progress and success, and then you have a trip up, you had a issue. And I want to encourage you that even if you have a hiccup, you come across a challenge or an issue, that you still get back up, that you don't allow yourself to stop and to stay there, that you still go through the process to still find yourself healed emotionally, physically, psychologically, mentally, so that you can be a full, beautiful, created masterpiece that God has for you. All right. Well, before we get out of here, I like to always be able to, um, you know, talk back to you. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you wanted to, comment as well, you can do that in the chat. But before we go, because we won't be on here long, just that we have a word of prayer, so that whatever we are experiencing, maybe this hit closer to home for you today, and maybe not today, but it'll be somewhere down the road, that maybe you'll have to come back and revisit this. I want you to be able to have a word of this encouragement and prayer, so that this can help carry you and take you through. So, God, we thank you and we honor you for who you are and for all that you are. We thank you for this time that we can be able to share and encourage one another. And I thank you for this opportunity that we can look at ourselves to see where it is that we need to be vulnerable before you, and the areas in our lives that we need to place before you so that you can heal us internally, so that you can work on us internally, so that we can be made whole, that in all of the fragmented pieces of our lives that we've given ourselves here, there, and everywhere, that we've done different things that have caused us to be less than and not to be fully who you created us to be and called us to be. Now we come to the understanding and recognize that even in all of that, there's still beauty in our pain, that there's still something great that you have for us if we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and to deal with the things that we have pushed aside, that we have suppressed, that we've tried to erase and forget. But we know that if we can go through it, if we can acknowledge it, then it's a point that we can be healed, that we can be made whole, even from the inside out, knowing that what we look on the outside has nothing to do with how we really are on the inside. We can try to put it together and dress ourselves up in the best clothes and the best accessories and have the best haircut or hair and shoes. We could try to have the best car and the best house and clothes and the best career, but still be broken on the inside. So I ask that to those who might be struggling with feeling broken on the inside and not at a point where they can be fully free, I ask that you meet them tonight, God, at their point of need so that they can take that step to be made whole. Lord God, we know that you called us to be great, that you think great things about us, that you knew us before we were even formed in our mother's belly. And so, with that, you created us with purpose and on purpose. And so, now help us to walk in that and take that step to, to purpose, that we can be healed internally, emotionally, holistically, to be the beautiful masterpiece that you've called us and created us to be. And I thank you and we praise you that it is done, and that we will move forward in what you called us and created us to be. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Well, I'm so glad you all tuned in. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Hey, if you find that this was an encouragement to you, I hope and pray that it was. Would you also share with somebody else? You feel that can be encouraged by it as well. I so would appreciate that because you know what? I just don't want to keep it to myself. I want to be able to help and encourage whoever I can. So definitely share it. Until next time, we'll hope to be back here again next Monday, same time. And so join us. Join us live, and we hope to hear from you and see you soon. So, guys, have a great, awesome, fantastic week. Let's go live intentionally, live on purpose, and let's live in the now. See ya.